or if I feel that I failed, I'm not going to post this video, because the last thing that I want to do is overcomplicate things and put you in a worse off position while trying to help and trying to explain. Hi team, welcome back to another video, and thank you so much for joining me yet again. If it is your first time here, and on this channel we chat about all things related to managing your money and adulting in general. So if that sounds like your type of conversation, please make sure that you check out our other videos as well. And if you happen to like what you see, don't hesitate, smash the subscribe button and become a member of the team. Okay. So today we are talking about financial education versus financial advice, right? And I want to chat a bit about this. The video is not going to be very long because I am starting to see a lot of people speak about personal finances, how they manage their money, what they're investing in and all of those things, either creating channels specifically for that purpose or speaking about it even in vlogs, right? And I want to start by saying that I absolutely love that. I am for that. I advocate for money conversations, people speaking about finances, because I feel like we don't do that enough. And the more people that can rally towards sharing knowledge, sharing information, and all of those things, the better. So I absolutely love that. But at the same time, I also, watch all of this content and consume all of this content. One, because I want to educate myself. Two, because I find it super interesting. But also because I also am in the industry myself. I am in the financial services industry and have been for many, many, many years now. And I consume that content, I think, with that mindset as well of wanting to know what's happening in the industry, or even wanting to know like how people are interpreting what's happening in the industry, etc. And what I've found is that sometimes when I consume content, I will watch a video, particularly on YouTube. I will watch a video and, I'll watch this information that's being shared, and then I'll read the comments section as well out of interest, and I'll see people saying, you know what, thank you so much for this financial advice. I'm going to go ahead and close this and open that. I'm going to start this and all of those things. And I read those comments on like, okay, from a concerned point of view, because I'm thinking to myself, whoa, that wasn't financial advice, that was sharing of information. And for you to now start taking action and closing things and opening things purely from that very open and general conversation is a bit scary in my view. And sometimes I'll watch another YouTube video where, someone has started off the video by saying, and I'm sure you will recognize this, this video does not constitute financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please contact someone who is registered with the FSCA. So those videos are also very common. And sometimes I'll watch a video like that on the platform. And then after that, I will, watch the video and feel like, okay, I think that was financial advice. That was actually a recommendation that you made there, and that can constitute or be seen as financial advice as well, even though you did put that disclaimer. So because of this, I thought to myself, you know what, maybe let me have a conversation with my team about the differences between financial advice and financial education, and why it's very important for us to be able to draw the line from this so we don't end up making decisions that we shouldn't make. First and foremost, I want to say that on this channel, we share financial literacy and we share financial education. We do not share financial advice at all, and we stay very clear on borderline financial advice as well, but we have open and honest conversations on sharing information. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in as much as a lot of people sometimes assume that I'm a financial advisor, I am not, okay? I work in the financial services industry, and I work with financial advisors and financial planners that I highly respect because they are that good, but I chose not to go that route. From an academic perspective, I was working towards becoming a certified financial planner, and then in between that journey and after my post-grad, I had this epiphany that said that, you know what, There's a lot of people speaking about this knowledge that I'm consuming, but I feel like there's not enough people interpreting it. There's not enough people educating on it. And I wanted my career to be somewhere in the middle where I interpret the information that I learned in order for people to be educated, to be upskilled, and to understand their financial journeys and the different areas. And because of that avenue, I found myself in the field, but not necessarily practicing in financial advice. Can I become a financial advisor with my academic background if I wanted to? Probably yes, right? But do I want to? No. And the reason for that is because of, you know what, let me not digress into career conversations. But the point is, I share financial education because I want to help people understand what's going on out there in the financial spectrum. But that doesn't make me a financial advisor. And the same goes for people who share information on finances that you see. It doesn't always mean that those people are giving financial advice. They could be just be sharing the knowledge, right? So I just wanted to get that out there. I refer to myself, well, I've got a title obviously in my corporate life in the space, but I refer to myself and the work that I do as a financial literacy advocate. And what that means is that I advocate for financial literacy. I advocate for people understanding, what is going on in their finances and what's going on out there where finances are concerned, where personal finances are concerned. I want to help people understand those things better. And that's honestly my life's mission, and my life's purpose is to be in that space and to interpret the information that I've learned and that I've experienced, both in my personal capacity, both in my academics and my work career, in a way that is understandable, in the way that is simple, and in a way that makes people feel empowered, like they can make their own decisions, like they can seek specific help as well. And it's not to advise you to necessarily act on a specific thing. I'm always open and honest on this channel about the fact that I believe in quality financial planning and advice. I do have a financial planner myself that I consult in areas where I feel like I am not that knowledgeable in. I do have someone that I'm like, hey, I want to make this decision. How do I go about that? Obviously, there's certain decisions I make myself because I feel like I can, but in the areas that I'm not, I do outsource that to a certified financial planner. So I believe in this space, but I also think it's very important for us to know what's what, where, so that we seek the necessary information and advice from the correct channels, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to explain this using my textbook. And before you run away, I'm going to try my best to simplify this. And if I fail, or if I feel that I've failed, I'm not going to post this video, because the last thing that I want to do is overcomplicate things and put you in a worse off position while trying to help and trying to explain, right? First things first, we have what is called the FASE Act, right? Which is the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act, right? And that is basically like, think of it like a set of rules, a constitution for the financial services. And I've noticed that in different areas that I've studied in the financial services space, the FASE Act comes up quite a lot. So I call it like the constitution of financial services, because a lot of things I explained there's a lot of definitions that you find in the financial services space. And the main purpose is honestly to make sure that consumers and people who are involved in the financial services from a consumer perspective, the law, so to speak, and understand, what expectations they can have, what rights they have, what certain things mean, so that, it's not this kept secret that you just engage but you don't understand. So that is the FASE Act, right? Think of it like, in an estate situation, it is the body corporate rules. Then you have what is called the FSCA, which is the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. You hear that word a lot. Please contact someone who is registered with the FSCA. Think of that as a body that regulates, a body that is in control, that makes sure that the constitution is in place, the rules are followed, they issue licenses to financial service providers. And, if something is wrong, it's also a place that you can reference, almost like the cops in the space, and the body corporate, where you go, when you need, guidance or things to be actioned, and they issue licenses and stuff like that. That is the FSCA, right? Hence the contact someone who is registered with the FSCA. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to share. Actually, let me grab my textbook. So this is the South African Financial Handbook. Um, and I want to basically go through the definition of advice that is from the FASE Act here. And I want to break it down, like in terms of when you're thinking financial advice, what is it? And then they go on to say in the second part, what it's not, right? And I do believe that it can be very gray in terms of both areas, which is why it's so important for us to understand this very clearly and to be able to interpret it as well, which I'm going to attempt to do. So it says here that advice is broadly defined so as to offer adequate protection to consumers, right? And basically what they mean is that, I think that's very self-explanatory, but it's quite a very long piece, like a definition in the way they define it. And the reason they make it broad is because they want to include all the circumstances and areas that could constitute financial advice, so that you're very comfortable that you understand the different areas, and when you can sort of like have a light bulb, wait, this sounds like advice type of moment. And so there's a long definition because of that, and it's broad because of that. Then it says that it includes any recommendation, right? And any is actually bolded and in italics. It's actually, yeah, in italics. Any recommendation, guidance, or proposal of a financial nature, right? This is what advice includes. Furnished by any means or medium, meaning that it is a recommendation or guidance of a financial nature over any medium, right? Or any means, which means like whether it's like on a Teams call, a Zoom call, a phone call, an in-person, and then it says to any client in or group of clients in respect of, so basically to any client or group of clients in respect of the things that I'm going to mention below. Now guys, this is an act, so it does go on to define what constitutes a client, right? But I'm not going to go into that because, like I said, I'm really trying to simplify this, but I want you to understand what advice is and how it's defined. And then it says, in respect of, which is where we stopped reading, the purchase of or investment in any financial product, right? This is advice. So remember, guidance or recommendation in respect of the purchase of or investment in any financial product. So once you guide or recommend that someone, participates, invests, purchases, takes up a specific financial product, that constitutes financial advice, right? And then it says, also in respect of the conclusion of any other transaction aimed at incurring any right or benefit or liability in respect of any financial product. And it also said it includes a loan or cession as well. Now, it also says that even, making a recommendation or guiding someone to take up a solution that gives them the right to a loan or anything like that, or a liability or owing something, that also constitutes advice. And then it says the variation, replacement, or termination of any financial product. So telling someone to close this specific investment so they can take up another investment is financial advice, right? That counts as termination and replacement. And also the variation. Variation means like adjustment, like telling someone that they should adjust their contributions to this and that financial product for this and that reason, also constitute financial advice. You see, it is very broad and there's different examples because we obviously as consumers trying to be protected here, so we understand all the different examples as well. Then it says, the above transactions fall within the definition irrespective, and I think this is very important, of whether the advice is furnished in the course of or incidental to financial planning in connection with the affairs of the client. So whether you just tell a person to do this and you sit down with them and you tell them to stop this, contribute towards that, change that amount and all of those things without doing a full financial plan, it still constitutes financial advice, right? Even if you touch that piece without going through the full cycle. Obviously, there's certain steps in a full financial plan, which is not the chat for today. But the point is, even if you touch in certain areas and you make recommendations or you guide someone to do such things, it does constitute a financial advice. And then it says, in addition, the advice does not have to result in any purchase, investment, transaction, variation, replacement, or termination, meaning that the person does not have to act on this for it to constitute financial advice. So if I sit down with someone and I tell them, I think you should decrease that investment from there, open it at XX provider, take that money, put it there, even if you don't decide to do it, but it doesn't mean that because you just didn't decide to, because you decided to not act on what I recommended or advised, it doesn't mean that it stops being financial advice, which I think is also very important. Okay, so that's what advice is, guys. And I really hope that I've explained it, as much as I could, or broken it down at least. And then it says, right? However, the definition of advice does not include factual advice or information given in respect of the procedure for entering into a financial product transaction. Let's pause there. So giving factual information or details on how to go about getting a specific financial product does not constitute as financial advice. So for example, if I say, there are savings accounts, different types of savings accounts, and depending on the type of saving account, you can, it can either be fixed or variable and all of those things. And usually in an emergency fund, the funds must be accessible. I'm speaking about financial solutions, but I'm giving you factual information, which is true and which you can also Google. That is providing factual advice and information. It's not making a recommendation or guiding you to do something specific. Then it says, answering routine administrative questions and giving promotional material. So it's furthering what advice is not. So for example, if I do a video and I say that, which banks in South Africa are paying the highest amount of interest right now, and I plop a picture of the different banks and their logos and the interest that they offer, that's promotional material that's easily available to everyone. And that bank is providing that interest rate, which is higher than the second bank and the third bank. That's not financial advice. That's sharing information, promotional information, and all of those things. And even if I answer specific questions on that particularly, it still doesn't constitute as, making a recommendation or giving financial advice. Then it says, and we're almost done, an analysis or report on a financial product without an express or implied recommendation. So we see the word recommendation coming up quite a lot. Recommendation is you are actually advising someone to do something. You are advising it, you should go and open this account there. You should do this, right? And you're not advising them on a general healthy financial behavior, but you're advising them on a specific investment to take at a specific place. And just to pause there, this is also very important for the people who like DMing us as people who share, financial literacy knowledge and stuff like that, and saying, Andiswa, what do you think I should do with my personal loan? Or Andiswa, what do you think I should do, with my XX investment that's not performing well? You are asking for advice because, one would have to understand the circumstances, the facts of that investment, and also understand fully you as an individual and do a proper analysis to arrive at why certain things should be stopped or continued, etc. So you can't expect someone to just say, buy Bitcoin or don't buy Bitcoin. Because, what does that mean for your risk profile? What does that mean for where you are currently with your finances? Then it says, guidance or proposal that any particular transaction in respect of the product is appropriate to the particular investment objectives, financial situation, or particular needs of a client is also not considered to be advice, right? So basically, let me read that again as a whole, I think, for it to make more sense. An analysis or report on a financial product without an express or implied recommendation, guidance or proposal that any particular transaction in respect of the product is appropriate to the particular investment objective, financial situation, or particular needs of a client is also not considered to be advice. And guys, again, with this definition, you see that it's very, very easy for one to cross over the line. Especially when you become very passionate in the way you speak and you start telling people what to do with their money. But what I want to say is, especially to my team members, it's very important for you to understand that in order for someone to give you good quality, appropriate financial advice, they really need to understand your personal circumstances and your situation. And I advocate for financial literacy, but I also advocate for financial advice because I know that there are people dedicated, to this work and doing it right. And it's important though that you speak to someone who is registered with the FSCA, but who also understands what they are doing and most importantly understands your individual situation so that they don't give you a general answer that is for everyone but is not particular to your needs, because that's when you start getting into specific financial products that make no sense to where you are right now and what you want to achieve. So in closing, it's important to understand what financial education is, what financial literacy is and where it stops, and the fact that financial advice, is important, but it needs to be given by the right individual in the right, environment, and also with a clear understanding of where you stand. And guys, I am by no means discouraging anyone to speak about finances, to speak about money, to have open and honest conversations. But I'm just saying, let us be wary of, motivating people, pushing people towards making certain decisions when we don't understand their circumstances and where they stand. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did make it till the end, please drop a money bag in the comment section so I know that you made it to the end. And as usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.